Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome. This is Rollin Frost, Kona astrologer. We're about to do show 1087. Thank you for joining me. I hope the information that I'm about to pass on and share with you is helpful to you and entertaining a little bit, and you might even get a laugh or two out of it. Maybe. Yep, using astrology to pave your path. Of course, this is a very personal use of astrology, isn't it? And of the last year, I've come to the conclusion that that was a bad, wrong turn astrology took back when they invented sun sign astrology. And some ladies took advantage and published newspaper columns on your sun sign, which is not you. That's the father figures in your chart. You are your rising sign. So, it's all been personal identity astrology. Personality astrology in the books, and supposedly, and in a way, it's a sneaky thing because most these so-called astrologers in the modern world, you ask them for their birth time, they won't give it to you. No. They figure you're going to snoop on them, see? Snooping on somebody into their private lives. And it's kind of like that in a way. I took a lot of pains whenever I did chart readings, clear back through Kauai and stuff. One, I record all my chart readings. I used to do it here on Kauai on cassette tape, just record the audio. And lots of times I would go down, sit at a park bench with the client and get out my cassette recorder and do chart work in a beautiful surrounding like that. But the main thing was I recorded it and I gave it only to the person that I was doing the work for, and it was a private thing. and astrology has kind of evolved in that way. It seems like the ladies are most interested in this identity, personality. It's kind of like, gee, my voice is getting a little better. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of like we're more interested in the day-to-day people kind of life. And in the politics of our nation, it's all about who you are. Are you black? Are you brown? Are you female? Are you male? Are you old? Are you young? Are you a kid? Are you a foreigner? Are you a gay? It's all about who you are. And that seems like politics is all about that. Here we are enmeshed in things like who gets to use what bathroom. My God, where are we gone in this country? We've all gotten self-centered and selfish, and yeah. So if you're really into that, use astrology. Get your own chart. It's easy enough to do. You can get them free on the internet, but be careful. There's little things about, wartime and different, like Chicago for a while. They were on daylight savings, but they told everybody put the real time on your birth certificate, so it's all confused. The time zone and stuff. So a little care is necessary. But once you've got a copy of your own chart, you're into yourself. Yeah, you can find out who you are, how you're built, what you're here for, what your karma is. I mean, the self-discovery that goes with a natal chart is astounding. I got a BA in psychology, 4.0, and psychology is nothing compared to astrology. I mean, they classify people into 4 types depending on their gland system. There are adrenal types, and there's pituitary types, and adrenals are the short, squat, muscular ones meant for manual labor. Pituitaries are the tall, thin ones with brain, white collar. Just silly compared to what astrology is. So you want to find out about yourself? Get into this. Every personal chart I do for people on video, the first 30 minutes usually I spend on who you are on your natal chart. To me, it's a thing like an engineering diagram. I call it the train ride of life, and you're on the train, and your natal chart is an engineering diagram of the train. Your rising sign is your body. Your sun sign's your character, your father figures. Your moon sign is your mother, your personality, your face. Just draw a circle around that face. That's your moon sign. You copied your mother's face. Anyway, this personal identity kind of action, our whole country's taken that turn. Maybe it's the media, I don't know. Turn on the TV, all you see is faces of people, and they're usually brown or black or female, and they're large, and they're making all these expressions. In the old days, we used to call it mooning. Well, our whole country seems to be mooning. Instead of talking about global warming and trying to afford a standing army, the largest in the world, as big as the rest of the world put together, our military. Can we talk about that? Nobody dares to say, we shouldn't spend all that money there. We don't need a huge standing army. You don't really need much of an army in a country like ours. Everybody's got a weapon in their house. They don't need it in Scandinavia. You go to the Scandinavian countries, everybody goes through 6 months of reserve training. And when they're done, they take their rifle home, put it in their closet, put the ammo up in the attic. And all able-bodied female and males have a rifle in their closet. So nobody goes and invades Norway, or Sweden or any of those countries that do that. They don't need a big standing army. And this other issue, global warming. What the hell? We don't care about the rest of the country. We'll make America great again. Screw you, the rest of the world. This terrible personal identity stuff sucks in everybody who's all about me, me, me. It's not about me. It's about global warming and a huge standing army that's, trying to get us into war. Those things are connected, It would be hard for us to say, foo to the rest of the world on global warming. We're going to pump the oil and burn the coal. And if we didn't have the largest army in the world, bigger than everybody else combined, to police that idea, we're the bully of the world. We're the ones that cause global warming. We're the one with a huge standing army. Nobody ever had a standing army like this, a professional army. No. Ben Franklin would be turning over in his grave. Okay, I'm going to switch subjects on you now. My voice is getting better half the time. I think a lot of it is because I finally got to these neighbors who were spraying Roundup all over. But another one is, amongst the little health problems I've got now, I started using this. And I got a little toothache, and I just put a dab on my finger and put it in on the gum next to the tooth. And in a day or two, the toothache is gone. It kills all the infections. And I think I might have killed whatever was on my larynx all this time. So I'm not sure whether it's because I shut down the neighbors doing their evil Roundup spraying, and it slowly got better over the last 4 or 5 months, or whether I finally hit it with something that would kill the invading bad guy. Anyway, I want to recommend this to you. This stuff is cheap. You get it at the health food store. Tea tree oil. Any little owie you have on your skin, anything infected, it kills bacteria. Yes, kills molds. You can use this for your athlete's foot. You can use it for your rash. You can use it for anything where there's an opening in the skin and there's a little redness. Redness means infections. Dab a little tea tree on it for a while, for a couple days, and it kills that infection. So my voice, it surprises me. It goes way down, back to normal. It's getting better. And I think it's because I'm inhaling a lot of the tea tree oil that I'm using on a toothache. So I accidentally am curing my laryngitis. What does laryngitis mean? Like the rest of your medical business, itis just means infection, an infection of the larynx. But, people just put, oh, you got laryngitis, and they think because they can say the name, they understand the thing. It's not that way. The name is not the same as the thing. Naming it doesn't solve the problem and give you wisdom. listen up to Mercury. The other thing is that Uranus is squaring my Sun and Mercury. And Jupiter's there, and by golly, I'm taking hits from these planets. My Sun is at 26 degrees of Capricorn, folks. It rules my 4th house, my home. An example, okay? For some reason lately on the news, I've seen a lot of stuff about Aniki. Well, here's my I had 2 little cabins on a Maui road on Kauai. And I worked hard at redoing them. All screens, this little cabin was a redone 1940 issue. It was an antique house, and it was delightful. Everything was 1 inch or 1 foot. It was, anyway, what happened? After putting a couple of years of work into both of these little cabins, along came Aniki, and here's what happened. There's little Michael next to me. There's a car all smashed over there. We weren't there for the hurricane because Michael's solar return was on September 11th, his birthday, and I saw it coming up in his chart. Looked like a truck was going to come through the wall and kill him, so we had to get out of there. We didn't have enough money to go anywhere, so went to Hilo. It's as far as I could get away from it to preserve Mike's solar return. And we had no idea. In those days, they didn't give any warning. And we're in Hilo in a hotel room, and it's supposed to go 2-3 days before your return, your birthday. The next day we saw there's a hurricane there. And on his solar return, blowy, we watched on TV from a Hilo hotel as the eye of the hurricane went right over my little dream house on a Maui road. So I got the same feeling now with Uranus back squaring my Sun. Eek! The house is coming down. The other day the cat took off for a couple days. We're having solar flares. Zap, zap, zap. The power goes out. The cable goes out. Uranus, see, is at 27 Aries. My Sun's at 26.5 Capricorn. Squares it. So there's Jupiter. My best buddy Rosie had to go to the mainland for his health. I don't have any backup on my technical equipment. I'm feeling all alone here. I'm getting isolated. The cat ran off a couple days ago. Just came back an hour ago. Woo! Uranus is kicking my butt. So I might be a little shaky as time goes on, but the good news is my voice is coming back. Okay, let's get down to business. What's going on here? We're going to do this week. It's actually the first week in October. 2017. And the notable things, Mars is conjuncting Venus. I talked about this a couple times. And it took me years to figure out because I saw what Ben wrote, just a little paragraph in Poor Richard's Almanac and Benjamin Franklin. You like this? A client sent me this. This Benjamin Franklin thing from my computer. Anyway, Benjamin Franklin in Poor Richard's Almanac said, and I quote, and he used the symbols. He said, "When Mars and Venus in conjunction lie, young maids whate'er is asked of you deny." So on October 3rd, the moon opposes this Mars and Venus. And you could see some squabbling and fighting and some, it took me years, but I figured out sex hurts. Sex is Venus. Venus is she loves sex, they don't give her credit in American astrology. Too much religious crap. And of course, Mars is real physical. But when Mars hits Venus, she gets randy. She gets very physical. She gets athletic. Hurry up, hurry up. You hurry up, sex, look out, it hurts. So, what Ben Franklin said was pretty clear. He said, when Mars and Venus in conjunction lie, young maids whate'er is asked of you deny. Okay, so the conjunction is exact on October 5th. But the moon opposes it on October 3rd. So this whole period, in the last half a year next week, Mars and Venus are together. You can see the way I draw it here. Venus is the blue, and she's traveling from here to there, from 12 to 24 Virgo. Mars is in the middle of it. He's going from 15 to 22 Virgo. So there's this whole period here where they're together in conjunction lie, is what Ben said. Okay, well, let's go down and do some personality politics, or whatever you want to call it. See what the universe is offering up for each of us on our own path. Now, this is a generic chart. It's not your chart. And so everything that I do here has got a little plus or minus a day, plus or minus an hour or two, because your chart, a little bit different. Could be a little late, a little early. A lot of people in Kona lost power and stuff yesterday, but they were probably at little different times. Anyway, the sun's in Libra. It's moving between 7 to 16 degrees. When it gets to your next weekend, not the one you're about to have, but the one after that, the sun will be at 16 and 17. That's going to square Pluto. Of course, the other news is Pluto is stationed. It's stopped September 28th. And Pele is doing a show, especially in Hawaii. For the rest of the world, it may not be as pretty as Pele and as harmless as Pele. There could be lots of other things. Here's the Koreans set off another A-bomb. Eek! Or this typhus in the water. What I just saw the other day. Hepatitis A on the sidewalks of Honolulu, similar to what happened in Florida. And it's all due to the homeless people taking a dump on the sidewalk. And it gets contaminated with hepatitis A. And so the county's going by and spraying it with stuff to knock out the Hep A. You can bet the homeless people pour Curon. They're going to beat up on the homeless. They got they carry hepatitis A. That almost all the folks that come up from South Pacific got hepatitis. It's endemic down there. And people who live in all the institutions of Honolulu, yes, all the different types of homes and things, 70-80% of them got hepatitis. They all got it. It's a blood disease. It's common. It's not just homeless people. So, Pluto stuff. So you're highly enmeshed in Plutonian karma. And Pluto has to do with things underground. Look at this. Here's the symbol for Pluto if we want to be pure astrologers. Remember, in astrology, there's only 3 symbols. There's the circle, which is spirit, we call. These are things with no matter. These are like thoughts, emotions, spiritual matters, invisible matters, let's call them, Then there's the crescent, the moon. This is the flesh, they call it. Some people call it personality, but it's the flesh, moon stuff. And finally, here's the cross of matter. Hard physical stuff. Yeah, so we don't use this symbol because it's an awful lot like Venus. You could confuse her easily, and like Mercury too. And so people use this large P for Pluto. But if you want to understand more what a policeman is about, that's Pluto. He puts the law, which is the non-physical stuff, on top, over people. The law comes first. Finally, money at the end. He doesn't care about your money. The judge will take your money. But that's the way Plutonians are. They're very idealistic. Your average crocodile. Shark, eek. The shark bites. You never feel it. So there's going to be a lot of unusual discoveries. And this started actually, 2 weeks before the 28th. And it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and it peaks out on the 28th, and it comes down for a couple of weeks. So the strength of it is peaking out on the 28th, especially because let's look at this day by day. And if you're on the Thursday night show, you're on the 28th of September. Well, there's the moon going by Pluto just after dinner. I had a cockroach that was 2 inches long come in the house the other day. Eek! A bug. Hard to chase him down. I have some carpenter ants moved in near the computer. I'm treating them with respect. And they're kind of strange. I have a relationship with ants. Big old ants. Anyway, it's happening to you on the 28th. Here it is. Take care. You're in the land of Pluto. Everybody's reptile brain is that. Treat everybody like a crocodile or a lizard or a shark or a policeman, an investigator, Sherlock Holmes. You'll get along. The vibes continue through Friday the 29th and get to a strange crescendo, in the afternoon of Friday when the moon squares Jupiter and squares Uranus. This could be more CMEs, radiation from the sun. We just had 7 in 7 days. That'll frazzle you. Drink a beer, take a little aspirin. Thin your blood. Everybody gets PMS on solar flares. The women are used to it, but the men aren't. So your Friday is chaotic. There'll be power outages, twirlies, tornadoes, hurricanes, excessive rain. It's going to shut down a lot of stuff on Friday the 29th. The moon shifts into Aquarius after dinner, and it gets a little better, a little more intellectual. On the 30th, Saturday, there's a trine to the sun. You got a plan. We can recover from this chaos. Yes, we can. Feels kind of, go ahead with your plan, through Saturday into Sunday. Sunday in the middle of the day, here's a sextile to Saturn, and we're grounded, we got money, we got time. Late Sunday night, well, here's a trine to Jupiter and a sextile to Uranus. The mechanical things, all of that stuff that was so crazy Friday the 29th. Now you figured it all out Sunday night. Do something. Monday the moon goes into Pisces. This is a very strange place. It's full of water. We had a full moon on Neptune. Monday night, Tuesday morning, the moon goes by Neptune, hits the full moon point. Eek! It opposes Mars. Yes. On Tuesday in the middle of the day, the young men and the heroes, they call these first responders, firemen and stuff, in trouble with bad smells. Some dummy went and told them there was flesh-eating bacteria in the brown water. Listen, sewage is not a big problem. It's a little crazy thing. By and large, the guys who work in sewage, they have less skin and lung problems than the rest of them. It's not a problem, but it scares everybody because the full moon's on Neptune. Eek, water, flood. That's a crazy thing. Monday, October 2nd, goes through Tuesday, October 3rd, and into Wednesday, the middle of the day, when it hits that new moon in Kira. Where's the homeless people? Wednesday morning. So, wow, chaotic Monday and Tuesday, full of Neptune hazards and liquids and strange beliefs. Tuesday, the moon's still in Aries. Moon went into Aries Wednesday afternoon. And in the afternoon of Thursday, here's a square to Pluto. Eek, a bug! Panicky again. Sharks. Nukes. And it'll settle down Thursday night, but not till about 10, 11 o'clock when the moon trines Saturn. Thursday morning, the moon goes by Uranus. And there's tornadoes and whirlies and earthquakes and all kinds of interesting interruptions to your power supply, to your independence. And Jupiter's over here. There's lightning bolts and water and thunderstorms Friday morning. Friday afternoon, the moon goes into Taurus. It all settles out. Son of a gun. On Saturday, the moon sextiles Neptune, and you discover where the leak is and the bad smells, and and you fix things, and it really was all exaggerated, wasn't it? Saturday afternoon, here's the moon trining Pluto. You know, I like to have the little tiny ants around. They clean out the termites. And here's a trine to Mars and Venus. Oh yeah, sex and love is great. Romeo and Juliet are doing just fine. So you say on the 7th. Remember what Ben Franklin said Saturday night. Saturday night is tricky. Moon in Taurus. Taurus is a Venus sign, very lusty, very sexual. So mind that, huh? Continues right through Sunday until the afternoon, and the moon shifts into Gemini. And that is the week when Mars and Venus in conjunction lie. Young maids, whate'er is asked of you, deny. Benjamin Franklin, late 1700s. Wish we had some astrologers around as good as Benjamin Franklin. Wednesdays, Channel 53 at 5:30, a half-hour show on the Raven. I've been doing it now for 4 or 5 months. This Raven is a problem because of the laws and the idea that they're wild, and they weren't. Captain Cook said 200,000 people lived along the coast of the Big Island. He counted the rooftops. And he said the most common house pet was a large black bird. The raven is a domestic pet. So is the nene. You can find out more about these on my website. If you go to skymarastrology.com/TV, go to blogs, you'll see it over there. A couple of these films. You know, I need some help here. There should be some Hawaiians, maybe a group that'll, get out a lawsuit and stop those guys from so-called releasing more ravens into the wild. Nope, what they're doing is throwing a sensitive young, the smartest bird in the world, they're throwing them out of the nest into a forest, and they die there. What the heck? We can do better than that. You want to help? I'm at 322-3584. Funny, the bird sanctuary, the people who are abusing the raven said, oh, we had success with the nene. They put some nenes out. Nenes eat grass. They just went to the golf course. It was not a successful reintroduction into the wild. Sorry.